There's many different reasons why people get into yoga. When I first started doing it, I had nothing. I didn't even have a yoga mat, and I downloaded this app on my iPad. I was doing it on the floor in my building. But at the time, I had an opportunity to move to Beijing and teach English. So everybody in China was 12 hours ahead, and I needed to be awake at night, even though I had to work all day. So I found yoga, and I realized that if I practiced at night, it would give me a ton of energy. And I could use this energy at night to concentrate on getting prepared for moving to China. I had all these appointments, medical appointments for the visa, and I had to get all these papers, and I had a bunch of benefits at my company, so I wanted to make use of all of those before moving. I was Airbnb-ing my apartment. I had to end my lease early. I had to run around and handle a bunch of documents. I didn't even have a passport. I didn't even know what a visa was. So I had to do all this stuff for the first time, and it was absolutely crazy. And so basically I had appointments all day outside of my work. And at night I would come home, do yoga, get energized, have some food, and then I would start to work on the different tasks I needed to be doing for that particular day. I had all these papers on the wall and items and lists to do all the time. And I was just jamming every single night. I'd be up till 3 or 4 in the morning every single night, working every single day. And I was taking a course at the time. And yoga was just something I would do when I came home. I eventually did get a really cheap yoga mat, $10 yoga mat. And, but it was something that I would do when I would come home, and I'd just listen to the iPad, and this app would generate different sequences based on my feedback. So if I said an asana was too hard or too easy or whatever, it would adjust. And I could choose what I wanted it to focus on, which was pretty cool. So then I'm realizing, wow, I'm doing this yoga and I'm feeling great. My body's getting stronger. I'm getting more energized. I'm able to stay up late at night and do all of this work. I can concentrate, I can be focused. And it was blowing my mind, right? So I knew that there was something to this yoga, and it helped me do this so late at night so many times and have all this energy in the morning when I was running around before or after work, that I decided to stick with it. And I decided to look into it more because clearly it was helping me somehow. I didn't quite know at the time, but once I moved to China, just 45 days after I had started even looking into the idea of working in China, let alone finding a job, which took me just a few days, and getting all the paperwork and stuff. So I didn't have a passport. I'd never traveled anywhere for vacation except for Toronto to Vancouver 2 times. But other than that, I hadn't really flown anywhere or been outside of North America. I'd driven around in the States a little bit, but it doesn't really count as vacations or stuff like that. It was just little short-term trips that we needed to do and stuff with my family. So for me, first real move, I moved from Toronto to Beijing. Don't speak a word of Chinese. And I just get there, I'm teaching English. I end up buying this girl's gym membership, and I was just buying it for doing yoga. I wish I knew at the time how much lifting weights would help with my asana practice, my pranayama, my meditation, my daily life. But I didn't. I just bought the gym membership to attend the group classes, right? So I went through the entire stage of, just doing it myself. And then I was doing the gym classes, and then I did my teacher trainings, and then I joined studios, and then I was, I was teaching volunteer classes, and I was teaching group classes, and I was teaching privates, and then I was teaching at studios, and then I was teaching online in the same way. Right? So there's this whole evolution. I've been down that whole path that a lot of you yoga teachers are on. But for me, getting into yoga, the core thing was the concentration, the focus, the strengthening, the quieting of the mind, the energy that it provided me physically and mentally. And that's still largely why I practice today. because those things are really powerful for me, especially now that I run an online business. It's been a total game changer. So that is how I got into yoga and moved to China in just 45 days. But that was, it was so pivotal to me because it was what really transformed my life. And it gave me the stepping stones to learn more about yoga, to ultimately go and do my teacher training and become a yoga teacher full time, and get out of this rat race of teaching asana classes on the side and wishing I could leave my job and just teach yoga full time. I've actually made that transition from just teaching a couple group asana classes and not having another job and being totally broke all the time. And wondering how I can be teaching online and earning more and still be able to travel and have my freedom without having to work a job. So I get it. And the beautiful thing is that I have a very developed asana practice, and I'm very skilled in my pranayams, and I've now added physical weight training, and this has dramatically enhanced my approach to asana, my approach to meditation, my approach to pranayama. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about this in another video, but I really do believe all yoga teachers should be lifting weights. I'm not going to say what kind of weightlifting you should be doing, but for a lot of teachers, I see that they struggle with asanas. Standing asanas are hard, core asanas are hard, arm balances are hard. And yes, it's not all about the physical stuff and the flexibility, but you know what it is about? Your mind and your internal emotional state. But guess what influences those things? Your physical body. If you're fit, you're able to control those things better, right? If you're in shape, those things are easier to observe and experiment and manage. And, like everyone can lift some weights, no matter how light, right? It's fine. But getting that little bit stronger, that much faster, is going to pay huge dividends, and every single asana will feel super easy. Promise you, right? Get toned, get strong. All the asanas are easy. Simple as that. It's absolutely mind-blowing how much will shift. And I would even go so far as to say, but I'm going to explain more of this later, like I said, is lifting weights has probably been like version 2.0 of my asana practice. So the same benefits still apply. And there is so much that comes with the mental concentration, the focus, the discipline, the commitment, and staying on track and staying true to your asana practice. Now, I'll admit I don't practice nearly as much as I used to in my physical asana practice, because I've supplemented that with weightlifting. So I practice considerably less now versus before, when I was just doing asana practice. And the beautiful part is, like everyone likes to say, asana isn't purely about the physical. Yoga purely isn't about the physical. And what I can do is I can take the other components that we teach in yoga, that we learn in yoga about ourselves and our journey, and apply them continuously, but doing physical workouts. So this has been a huge shift from not doing yoga at all to discovering it on an iPad when I didn't even have a mat, to becoming a yoga teacher and having all the mats and the props and all the gear and doing this full time. The same things apply, and that's the discipline, the concentration, and the commitment that come with regularly showing up to be disciplined for yourself. So massive transformation here. I still use everything I've been learning, and I really hope that this video has helped you out, because as someone who's been doing asana now for like 7 years, you gotta find a way to keep it sharp. You gotta find a way to keep it interesting. And this has been, my path, is transferring these skills into my life, building my business, building my physical body. And, that's how I'm interpreting and applying my asana now. So hopefully you can take these lessons for yourself as well. And I'll see you in the next video.